Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Happy Mondays to each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen. I thought we'd celebrate with some Average Joe's action today. Lots of people say to me, Gyle, you're disrespecting the Average Joes, man. You're leaving them out in the cold. Well, it's not intentional. It's those annoying people, the pros, you know, the people that know how to play. Smug, irritating people that they are. But today it's not the case. Today we are celebrating mediocrity in all of its low CPM splendor. Actually, that's not strictly true. We have got a smattering of pros in this one, but the important thing is that the average rating of these players today will be sub 1500, which qualifies it for Average Joe's status. And another interesting thing, as many things are because I'm here, they're always interesting, Carl. What are you talking about? You may remember in last couple of casts, or recent casts, I've mentioned RK's explosion mod. Well, he's been busy, hard at work, cajoling people into playing so we can get a castable game together. And I've been told this is that game. So very exciting indeed. And I know we've had a lot of Twin Rivers recently, but it is tough to get a decent 6v6 going. It's even tougher to play in one with all the lag. But salute to the guys and girl that have. And the players are literally ready to go. So let's go on over to the game zone and see how they're going to get on. We'll slow this right down because we've got a lot of people to get through here. Going first for Team 1 up here. Rearguard their position up at the back. It's Speed 2. Much worse film than Speed 1. That's why Keanu Reeves didn't do it. Anyway, he's going Electric Blue, opening Cybrin. And opening first air, going Cybrin. And then to his right over here in Cyanide Scion, also going Cybrin and first air. It's Jolly. So both the air guard rear positions there for Team 1 going first air, ignoring the penalties. And then over here we've got Great Noise also going Cybrin, also going first air here in a breast cancer awareness pink. To his east, we've got one of the very few female players here in our FAF community, treasured as she is. It's Pinky Zoria. She's going Cybrin at opening first air. There's a pattern emerging here. I'll put my finger on what it exactly is in just a moment, but we'll carry on nonetheless. Anyway, Cybrin first air. And then down here in Turgid Fecal Brown, Ithillis is, surprise, surprise, going Cybrin first air. And last but not least, down here in Combat Green, it's Tokito, and he's going Cybrin first air. So I think we can say that there, with a pretty much decent certainty, there's some crazy early Jester play going on here. Some six-way gunship love, which is surely inbound soon for Team 2. Good luck, guys. You're going to need it. And let's take a look at Team 2. We've got Shio down here, and he's going Aeon, opening first air in Spetsnaz Green. And then up here in Mellow Yellow, we've got Pocket Merlin. He's going first land and going Aeon. And then over here to the front line, we've got Gas Pumper in Vivacious Violet going the Noble and Attractive UEF, opening first land. Then next up, we've got Mr. Death. Terribly frightening name as that is. And he's going Seraphim, opening first land. And then over here, Rick D, or Rick as I should be calling him, in Burgundy Red. He's going Cybrin, going first and second land. And last but not least in Pontiff White, it's Total Tuner. And he's also going Cybrin, opening first land. Have you ever seen a game with so much frickin' Cybrin in it? I can answer that myself and say I have not. And immediately, of course, Jesters on the way from just about everyone except for Zoria, who, oh love, you've forgotten to finish your factory and it's slowly degrading. She's going to be so annoyed that I picked up on that. Sorry. Moving on. Let's look at everybody else whose build orders are going to plan. There we go. Come on, finish it off. Anyway, I think we can speed this up a little bit. We're talking about RK's explosion mod. If you want to know what it is and you haven't seen the previous cast where I talked about it, essentially it's just a graphical enhancement mod. It's not necessarily going to become an integral part of the main FAF mod, although I'm sure RK would love it to become that way, but it certainly offers some visual alternatives, lots of pretty ionized explosions of all different colors and stuff, all racially specific. So it's pretty interesting, and especially enjoy the deaths of the experimentals and some of the factories as well, with the multiple shockwaves and explosions that all seem to go on for just about ever. But very entertaining. It definitely mixes things up. We've got a little bit of early play coming out from Tuna, Mantis, and a Mole there. But look out, here come all of the jesters. They're amalgamating there over by the central reservation. Let's take a look at what things would look like from Total Tuner's perspective. As you see all of these jesters come over the hill, you see a couple of scout planes, you go, oh, okay, so there's at least some air players in there. And one jester turns up, you're like, oh no, another one, oh no, oh god, change build orders, change everything, my opening is ruined, I hate you all. You should have seen it coming though. Speed and Zoria, they always play together. Remember we casted a game a while ago on the Gap of Rohan where they did a nice four-way opening drop, com drop around the side. You see them going all cyber, and you've got to think something like this is on the cards. But Total Tuner's going to try and counter with some Sky Slammers out of these factories. He's also throwing together a Tracer. And initially, they were all going for Total Tuner's ACU there, but that would be a very tough ask indeed. Instead, they're going to split up and try and pick off some build capacity, and I imagine some Mexes as well. Definitely the way to go. Speed's renamed his to Speed's Wraith. See there, engineers going pop. You see some of the new explosions as well making their first appearance in this game as Merlin loses more and more engineers to this very, very irritating opening from T1. Look at that. Jolly, his name is Mr. Happiness. It's just the level of trolling. It's over 9,000. It really is. But this just, it's just I'm not even playing in this game and it's annoying me. It's like I just want a macro. This level of rush. And there goes a Cybran Jester there, falling out of the sky with all of its electrical goodness. Yeah, be warned if you're sensitive to light and you haven't bought your sunscreen or your sunglasses, could be in trouble. OP Zorelia gets shot down there eventually. Good coverage ultimately actually from Merlin. Lots of interceptors surrounding here from the rear air players, and that's protected their team rather well. And I gotta say, I'm not 100% sure how well that's done for. I know it's not exactly a yardstick for anything important, but jesters are incredibly expensive, and you really want to effect some critical damage. And yes, we saw a lot of engineers going pop, especially there at the back for Merlin, and he is on around 13 mass, but Shio's on 23. He's doing pretty well. And look at the score of the of Team 1. They occupy 5 of the bottom 5 rungs, and Speed is a couple of places above, but yeah, I'm not sure if that actually worked out. And it's such a tough thing. You can't really run in with jesters and expect to bag a com kill early on. That is too much to ask. But Jolly making an early play inside the 5-minute mark to the bottom southeast island with a bunch of build capacity. Going to throw in a couple of land factories there, some static defenses, so he's claiming his stake early. We've also got another chariot from Merlin, or a chariot from Merlin, a couple of units of build capacity on there going straight to the top island, so it looks potentially like we could have a nice even split of the resources here between Team 1 and Team 2. Always good to see. Means we're going to be in store for a longer and more even game, hopefully. But in a 6v6, of course, proximity of the ACUs to one another is, well, it's very tight indeed. So expect a lot of action in the first phase, the early game, as borders are laid out. And Mr. Death has accumulated a decent amount of firepower on the ground here. And of course, lots of ACUs in the area, and Jolly's actually come forward from the back. So 3 ACUs in the area versus just the 1. Gas Pumper still way back here for Team 2. So Mr. Death, for the moment, out by his lonesome. He has got a lot of Zooey backup, but as long as Team 1 continue to micro, it's going to be very difficult for those Zooeys to land any damage. Hito dancing around, doing the old Twin Rivers 2-step there. Jolly focusing in pretty hard on Mr. Death. He's down into the yellow now. 7,000 hit points remain. Overcharge is piling in the pack of Zooeys there, and virtually all of his forces are down. Mr. Death finds himself surrounded by hostile ACUs and has to back up. Gas Pumper coming in now for a bit of support. He's transitioned into T2 nice and early on. He's got a Triad under construction, but will it be too little, too late? The ACU sensing death here. Mr. Death down to around 800. Corsair coming in for speed as well. Oh, it's going to be close, 200 hit points, and Villis is backing off. What are you doing? He's going to leave it up to speed, I guess, but that was not a good run. Most of the shots missing. Speed's got some of his own interceptors in the area, which are defending, keeping that Corsair alive, but the third pass is enough to pick up the kill. Team 2 are the first people to lose a player here in 8.5 minutes gone. Very, very painful indeed. Jolly got taken down to around 6,600. What's happening over here on the left, meanwhile? Well, it's Total Tuner and Rick D are forcing Grey Noise and Speed back. One of the drawbacks, of course, of going mass hybrid is that all of your ACUs are made out of cotton. And Speed taking the brunt of the attack here from Total Tuner's ACU. And there's a ton of Mantis in the area for Total Tuner. Speed running out of hit points very quickly indeed. He'll want to get in around the side of the central reservation if he can, but I don't know if he's going to find time to do it. Only 1,000 hit points left on that bad boy, and down he goes. And Team 2 will be incredibly happy with that trade, losing their bottom player, 1,100, or joint bottom player there, and trading it for one of Team 1's top players. This is not a balanced game, incidentally. Team 1 had it stacked in their favor dramatically, both Jolly and Speed 2 on 2,000 rating there. But Speed down. Grey Noise incredibly low on HP as well, as backing up for his life. Less than 1,000 HP, just gets over there on the regen, and in comes some of his own friendly Mantis to alleviate the pressure. Now it's Rick's turn to back on up. Taquito and Zoria pressing on as Rick drops below 50% HP, and Total Tuner's looking pretty darn peaky himself. He's well down into the red. 2,500 hit points on board. But T2 emerges for Rick. That's going to be a welcome sight indeed. Hoplites and Rhinos getting in the mix there. And Zoria is going to have to back up. She's sitting on around 5,500 HP as well. Meanwhile, a lot less interesting stuff happening over the east. A little bit of a run by the looks of things there from Taquito. But there's Static D T2 up here up front for Gas Pumper. So it doesn't look like there's any major threats for the moment. Spectres arriving on the scene for Merlin. You can see the trails that this mod brings to life. Definitely a lot more graphic in terms of destruction. Corsair's coming in from Taquito, still harassing Total Tuner's ACU. And Ibilis is pushing with his T1 spam on the ground as well, but he's running out of that fast. Total Tuner's going to back up towards the relative safety of his base. So would you look at all of that? That has been a action-packed opening 12.5 minutes indeed. God, I love games like that. We've got a Starlifter out for Gas Pumper, and apparently the driver's been drinking quite heavily. What's going on there? That's peculiar. Definitely would not want to be flying on board with that guy. And I did actually see an engineer on his way to do a distance build up here from Gas Pumper, but I'm assuming that either got killed or rerouted, perhaps to build some of this T1 static anti-air, these railguns here in the lower river. Now troops amassing. It's the build-up phase for this game, and you see some of the explosions going off as redundant T1 factories are detonated in preparation to be recycled. And that Starlifter has picked up Gas Pumper, who's on his way off to the bottom right-hand island. He's going to make a play here for this. Gutsy as it is. What have we got on board this guy? Was it him who started the Triad earlier, or was it an engineer? I'm guessing it was probably him. It was him. T2 Tech on board. starts blapping down the mechs, and immediately throws up some anti-air, and he's got a triad and some intel queued up as well. And what have we got on the ground down here to defend? Well, we've got a factory which is halfway done to T2, so it's not going to be spitting out any more units for the moment. We do have some ground units moving in for Jolly, some of which, of course, are Medusas. That's going to play havoc with the systems inside that triad. Annoying units, those Medusas. EMP incredibly powerful, and more build capacity dropped in for Gas Pumper, who immediately start throwing together some T1 PD to help secure the area and protect that ACU. Keep an eye on how things are developing there as we move over to the west. And a nice little run-by on the cards from Zoria here. Combined push from Zoria, Grey Noise, and Ephilis. Total Tuner still looking pretty unhealthy back here. 2,700, 800 HP on board. Making sure he gives these incoming units a wide berth, and I do not blame him for that for one moment. Top pretty well secure now for Merlin. Look at this, we've even got shields going up down here. We do have T2 tech on board, but that T2 plant now under heavy Janus harassment from Gas Pumper, who really is committing everything to the assault on this side island. He needs to be careful he doesn't neglect his front line, of course. There's a lot of units building up here for Taquito, but it is, at least for the moment, mostly T1. He does have a T2 factory in play, but he's not focusing on T2 ground production as yet, it wouldn't seem. But what have we got going on here? Another comm drop up here at the back. We've got Merlin screening for that transport, and he's coming straight up here for the back, which of course was Speed's old base. That's a decent idea here. Maybe he can get a base of his own together and usurp some of these mechs. Is very brave indeed. That comm, of course, with personal shield on board, so that's a lot of HP he's got to play with. 29,000 in shield alone, another 17,000 with what's on the comm. And immediately the Oblivion turrets come out. What have we got going on down here for Jolly? A lot of build capacity moving up here and immediately starting work on some point defense. T1 and T2 assorted. Everything pretty static on the front line. A little bit of more range play coming in here with some Vipers. But that conquest is now complete on that bottom right-hand island. Gas Pumper firmly in control, and the PD creep, meanwhile, up here at the back, continues for Shio. Jolly gets stuck in with his AC, but that's a bad idea as Shio simply erects 3 units of T1 PD, and Jolly is forced to retreat in haste. And of course, Cybran PD not up to much, but wow, has he plowed through that Monkey Lord. That has just been started. He must have stored up a decent amount of mass there. 20,000 hit points complete on that bad boy already. Shio still trying to continue his creeps. Got a little bit of a push coming in here from Taquito, and a Dragonfly comes in with a horde of Fire Beetles. Shio backing up. There's a lot of hit points on board. A nice overcharge goes in, but at least half the shield wiped out there. A nice little attempt at a snipe from Taquito, but thank God he had that shield. And that has at least taken out a bunch of the PD, and more importantly, that will give the Monkey Lord much less resistance when he comes in. Is there even a transport in the area to evac the comm if they spot that Monkey Lord? That's the question. We have got some air cover from Merlin, who's got ASFs hanging about in the area. That, for the moment, is the most technical piece of kit on the field for air player. Grey Noise is still in the game, but that is a disconnect or a crash or something, so that's a major shame there as far as the game goes. Annoying little DC coming in on it. And there goes all of his stuff. But Monkey Lord online, and this is about to go horribly for Shio. He has not got enough on the ground to deal with that Monkey Lord. Has he even realized it's coming in? As soon as his shield HP evaporated there, he must have known something was up if he hadn't noticed the small red projectiles come in, and the Monkey Lord locks on, and that's going to be the end of Shio. So 2 players ejected, one through DC and the other through aggressive drop and an inability to cripple Jolly. But we do have some strats coming in now for Merlin. That was going after Jolly's comm there, knocked him down to around 5.5k. But Jolly with a shield now covering his comm. Another upgrade coming on the way as well. Probably something I'd imagine either stealth-wise or something that will give him a boost to hit points, like a tech upgrade or something. More strat bombers on the field for Merlin. What's he going to go for? Is he going to go after Eco? Is he trying to find more avenues of attack for Jolly's comm? No, he's going straight after power. Lands one strat bomb in the center of that power grid, picks off one of the T2 P-gens. Jolly definitely doesn't want to lose many more of those. I don't even know what happened to that. Might have got shot down by some rogue T3 Sam. But that Monkey Lord that took out Shio a little bit earlier now, making its way towards the front. This could cause a few problems. Turtle Tuna being berated early on, has yet to get himself properly re-established. By Quantum Gateway on the way and starting to produce some support commanders. There's very little up front for Team 2. Certainly on the ground. Some Spectres coming in there for Merlin, going straight after that Monkey Lord, but Zoria quick to bring in her own bangers and Sky Slammers. And down those Spectres will go. Still 37,000 hit points kicking on that monkey. And a TAC missile barrage. No, T3 Mobile Arty. Sorry, that looked like TAC missiles for a moment. We've got some trebuchets lined up at the back there for Ithillis underneath Taquito's shield there. And he's just going to use that to harass some of the static emplacements there for Gas Pumper. Yet more Spectres inbound. And if they're going to get serious about this attack, they should probably think about going after the flak first of all. They last absolutely no time whatsoever. Janus incoming for Gas Pumper, lands a direct hit on top of the Monkey Lord, who just strays through the incendiaries like it's nothing. I thought for a moment that was Total Tuna, but it's one of the support commanders. Down that goes, and down goes the T3 power plant and the adjoining Quantum Gateway and T2 power plant. Total Tuna on the run here. Rick D also in the area. It's about to go very badly indeed for Team 2. Total Tuna walks in with his stealth upgrade there. Thought that would be enough to protect him. Wanted to fire an overcharge into the belly of the Iron Beast. I can't believe he's still alive. The Monkey Lord is continuing to press. We have got some bricks on the field now for Rick. How are you still alive, Total? That's insane. We have now got strats inbound from Merlin. Not going to get another pass in, though. Into the red, at least. Another strat bomb lands. 5,500 hit points remain. But it has to be said, Total Tuna is effectively now out of this game. He's got two T2 mexes to call his own, and that is it. Monkey Lord gains a rank in vet at the worst possible time, just as about to die. 26,000 hit points remain. He's going to strut him stuff back up and regen. That is good, solid play from Jolly there. Surprised he didn't manage to get the kill on Tuna's ACU, but he did the next best thing and eradicated his base. We've got T3 Air now in play for Gas Pumper as well, and Gas Pumper actually jumping into the naval game here. T2 Navy online, and Governors are the order of the day. Some already out up here. We've also got a TAC missile base emerging on the peninsula up here. 7 of those bad boys queued up. And to give you an idea of the kind of range and where they can sting you from, look at that. So we've got 2 people's bases completely in range of that, and some of Jolly's mass back here as well, also potentially under threat. Having said that, a sustained governor attack is likely to provoke massive TMD defense lining up on this coastline. So how effective that TAC missile base is going to be, we'll have to see. Ravagers up front for Gas Pumper, stinging some of the build capacity up here. That's just trying to reclaim some mass. That's all I'm doing. I'm a civilian. Geneva Convention doesn't exist on Twin Rivers. I know, I've looked and I've begged for humane treatment myself on previous games. And Rick's inbound there from Rick, throwing some damage down on that Monkey Lord, and if they don't get the job done, then this Colossus that's inbound from Merlin sure as hell should. Monkey Lord doesn't like the look of that. He's going to back the hell up. Monkey Lord versus GC doesn't usually turn out too well for the Monkey. And here we go, TMD now well under construction down here. Take out that T2 Engineer, that would slow up production pretty significantly. And down it goes. This is where you really want to mix up governors and the odd battleship. Of course would require a transition to T3 Navy, which would be costly, at least for the price of the battleship itself. And Turtle Tuna just going to be sitting back here on an upgrade. He's not even going to go and try and reclaim his base. He's perfectly happy by the looks of things to allow Rick to cannibalize it. You see moving forward, just blapping stuff as he goes. It's a giant space hippie thing of beauty right there. I like the way he holds his arms. So it's like, what do you want from me? Got nothing. What do you want from me? Apparently all GCs are Italian. It's a great thing about this game. You learn new things all the time, but somehow that Monkey Lord there has evaded the GC and it looks like he's coming in for another attack. We have got a crab under construction. I thought for a moment that was going to be Phyllis's comm, but it wasn't. It was a support commander. Phyllis under shield coverage over here to the east. And that crab very nearly complete, and that could spell some trouble for Team 2 if that gets online, which it does. Wave of Corsairs in from Gas Pumper. A little bit of extra damage inflicted as those wrecks pile into the superstructure of that experimental. All getting a little bit crazy. Let's bring this down to regular speed. Look at the carnage going on this one. That's going to be a loss, I think, for the GC. I'm surprised Taquito isn't maneuvering that crab under the shield coverage. Looks like he knows the sneaky backup command. But to be fair, 91 casualties caused by that GC. That's a decent little venture, albeit allowing that wreck to die or emerge in hostile territory. Not ideal. And this is what I'm talking about, the zappers lined up on the shore there. Got to do something, but has to be said, it's not going too badly for the moment from this cruise missile barrage, this assault from the river. Merlin's still doing some damage with these shockers coming in over the center. It's a massive TAC missile battery there. 7 TAC missiles will really ruin your day if they're allowed to land. 2 TAC missiles will ruin your day if you get hit with it with your comm and it's unupgraded. But the megalith moving in now, and you can see some. Damn, I missed it. Some of the boat explosions are actually some of the best. It's tough to see, but he really has gone overboard, if you won't mind me saying that. Absolutely to town on these naval explosions. Oh, come on, kill it! I want to show you it. Kill the boat, you stupid crab. Nice evading, I guess, by gas pumper, even though I want to see it die. Still sitting on T2 there for gas pumper, so not interested at the moment on making that expenditure. Getting out to T3 and getting battleships in play. You're seeing a lot of loyalists turn up on this coast, and you mustn't forget, of course, very funky ability that the loyalists have is the TAC missile deflection. It's the cruise missiles on the cruisers as well. You get the missiles in the right place next to the loyalist, and it will return to sender. So boat's going to have to keep moving for gas pumper as well, especially with the trebuchet fire that's now incoming. Boom! There we go. Look at that. It's immense. That's actually the body of Cybrid slaves that they keep on board, going up in flames and flying into the air. Some people thought the UEF were crazy to take Cybrid slaves on board and load them into ejector seats to be fired off into the air like fireworks when they go down. I call them visionaries. More control K going on of redundant factories at the back there. Megalith on the way for Zoro. We've got a couple of Monkey Lords up front there for Jolly. We've got a Crab up front there for Tokito. And there's not actually a lot on the field, on the ground anyway, for Team 2, but air power is definitely on their side of things. There's quite a lot of ASFs between Gas Pumper and Merlin. We're going to afford to bump this back up to +2. Move your cruisers. Cruisers eating more trebuchet shells there. Down it goes. Boom, baby. Oh, you should see it when the battleships go up. It's immense. And especially when a fat boy goes up. I'm going to have to stay glued to this fat boy, because if it dies, I'm going to be a happy man. Not because I'm prejudiced against Team 2 or anything. But I don't know if RK's changed it or not, but it's got the most ridiculous series of explosions. Apparently the fat boys are made out of Semtex. Explains why they're so weak. And another couple of Monkey Lords. Clearly wasn't aware there, Jolly, that those were GCs. Otherwise I doubt he would have thrown those away like that. Lots of build capacity out for Jolly, trying to accrue a little bit more reclaim, and we haven't really looked at the eco in this much at all. Jolly Pocket Merlin way out in front. Well, not way out in front. Jolly and Merlin way out in front between them in the 370 mark. Gas Pumper on 226, and then everyone else is in the hundreds or below. So it really is about the combination of Jolly, Gas Pumper, and Merlin, at least for the moment. And look at the amount of TMD that's just strewn around Taquito's base. Oh, just enough to keep up with the current rate of fire. Sure it wouldn't be if the TAC missile batteries fired a volley. And actually, Gas Pumper transferring control of that fat boy over to Merlin. Says, I've got other things to be concentrating on. You do that. Players now in a completely different phase of the game and ecoing hard. Zoria comes in with a wave of ASFs, and that's not ideal. Merlin was waiting for her and just chomps on all of those ASFs. Fat Boy inbound, and this could cause major problems if the Fat Boy could take out the TMD down here, which looks like it's managing to do, although it's probably just primarying the crab. Oh my god, that T2P gen's on 60 hit points. Someone sneeze on it quick. What do we got here? Is that TAC missiles? Boom! Or is that trebuchet fire? It's kind of tough to see with the slowdown. TAC missile fire. So that is persuaded Merlin to back that up somewhat, but he's taken out a decent chunk of TMD. Now look at the size of that battery as well. So Taquito says 2 can play at that game, mister. And a Monkey Lord coming in from the west, and that's going to catch the Fat Boy, I think. Not ideal there, but that's down to a lack of intel, lack of scouting, and down goes the Fat Boy. And all of the onboard Semtex. And you say overkill. Corsairs coming in for Gas Pumper. Finish off the Monkey Lord. 2GC still running up front though, still online. A couple of Harbingers coming in to support as well. And still for the moment it would seem TMD keeping up, albeit barely. There goes one now. Might have spoken too soon. Out comes the crab. That doesn't last too long. We've got 2 GCs left here, one of which is south of 15,000 HP. The other one in excess of 60. And that's not good. Another Monkey Lord turns up from Jolly though in the nick of frickin' time. That's a lot of mass that's just turned up in that base. Taquito having backed up, and Zoria as well into the center of Jolly's base. Not a bad idea. Dillis is being pinged. I don't know if that's an airstrike that's inbound. We do have a lot of Corsairs and a lot of strats in play now between Merlin and Gas Pumper. And these planes are on the move as we speak. Gas Pumper succeeds in knocking out that other monkey. Strat's definitely looking for some kind of angle on something. Coming right up around the top here. Now they actually coming in for some of the ACUs at the back here. Zoria right by that quantum gateway. There's a nuke launcher in play here as well, but that doesn't last too long, and Zoria is right next to that T3 power plant when it goes up. And that did more than nick her health. She's down to 4,700. And Taquito's base now just crumpling under the weight of cruiser fire. A lot of build capacity getting beaten up there as another pass from those strap bombers lands some of the bombs right in the center by that T3 Air HQ. Still in play though, that HQ, which is important for Team 1. And Zoria, while I was looking elsewhere, gets picked off by Total Tuner, who's done nothing all game since his base was destroyed down here. We saw him on an upgrade down here, and he telemasered cheeky mare right up there and picked off Zoria. Is he actually alive? Yeah, he is. He got back. Unreal. And that bumps him into the top 4 on score. Jolly unimpressed by Total Tuner's choice of tactics there. Taquito on an upgrade. I'm wondering if we're going to see any counter telemasering going on from Team 1. They're running out of options, so they've got to do something like that. Team 2 now looking phenomenally well developed. And all of the TMD that was lining Taquito's base has been taken out. Governor's now finishing off these factories. There's the dual explosion there. Always nice to see. But Ithillis recently throwing together a megalith and trying to get a solution on these boats, which is pretty difficult. They're quite elusive. Gas Pumper has been right on the mark with his micro, but he manages to pick one off there. And now we've got a whole bunch of land forces moving up the western portion of this part of this map from Rick. We've got down here, we've got static emplacements, but they're all T3. Team 1 relying predominantly on experimentals for base defense. But there's just no route back in, seemingly, for Team 1 in the air game. Merlin and Gas Pumper between them, far too well entrenched with too many ASFs, but a massive barrage from the TAC missile base on the peninsula on that side island, going after the TMD for Jolly's mexes here first, and then I'm presuming is going to go after the actual resources themselves. That's two T3 mexes which are going to be taken out. There it goes. Cannot repel firepower of that magnitude. Oh, it's good systematic nerfing of Team 1's economy there from Gas Pumper. Gas Pumper and Merlin playing a phenomenal game here, and it was good work from Shio as well. It was nice inventive work. It didn't turn out too well from him, but it was good to see. And look at what happens when ASFs crowd over a ton of Myrmidons. They get brutally shredded. It's fireworks. But Azar coming in over the top, looking for Jolly's commander. Jolly under shields, but those shields don't last too long. Fortunately for him, he's got a lot of T3 static in the area, and that takes the Tsar out. But Jolly down to, well, about 45% of his HP, 7,300 hit points. Wave of Corsairs coming in for a second attack, this time from Gas Pumper. Where's he going? He's going after Taquito. Boom! And that was actually Total Tuner's comm standing next to him, so he moved in on the telemaser at the same time. So down goes Taquito, another player out for Team 1. And their power diminishes yet more. Another pass with strap bombers. That takes Jolly out. And that is surely going to be game now. Ithillis is the only player that remains for Team 1. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed with Team 2 and how they've played this one. That was a very aggressive opening start, which I would probably argue from Team 1 didn't get done what they wanted to. Not sure what they could have done differently to have affected a different outcome, but still. But rating-wise, the game was stacked, I'd say, in favor of Team 1 quite heavily. So they've done really, really well to pull out the victory here, which I'm assuming they've done. Generally not a good idea in this life to assume too much about anything, but you've got to admit it would take an act of God to turn this one around now. Still, strange things have happened, I guess. Gas Pumper using some engineers to go out the map and reclaim. Got a bug on the way as well. But yeah, like you say, guys, if you like what you see with the explosions mods and you have some feedback, do feel free to get in contact with RK. Maybe write him a message on the forums. He likes accidental in writing, or post on the forum thread. And down goes Ithillis with a Corsair snipe at the end there from Gas Pumper. Very, very strong play from Team 2D, and that brings the game to a conclusion. Very entertaining game indeed. And like I say, guys, if you do have feedback for RK, doesn't matter how difficult it is or how costly or how long it's going to take, that he will make it happen. He's told me to tell you guys he will work night and day to make your wildest dreams come true, whatever they may be. So it doesn't matter how much work it's going to be for him. You just tell him what you want and he'll make it happen. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.